government is supposed to be the good guys in this situation, yet the people that they kidnap, they torture and abuse in their prisons. How can you claim to be the good guys when you are abusing prisoners and people that you kidnap, people that have not been charged with the crime or convicted of anything? How are you the good guys when you're torturing people? You want to, the Israeli government screams and shouts about how bad Hamas is for torturing people that they've kidnapped, while the Israeli government is doing the same thing to Palestinians that they kidnap. You would think they would actually be treating these people uh, better to show that they're the good guys. But no, they torture Palestinians, proving that they're not the good guys.
After months of stressful waiting, Gazans are joyfully reuniting with loved ones. Ibrahim Abu Salah, one of the Palestinian detainees released by Israeli forces, gives a harrowing account from hospital.
After the interrogation, they put us on trucks. In those trucks, there was all sorts of suffering, beating, being without food, without water, and without anything. Of course, after maybe 2 weeks, I developed infections in my leg from the inflammation. My left leg got severely infected, and I stayed 7 days. After about a week, my leg wasn't getting better. It turned blue, and it got gangrenous. They took us to the hospital, and I stayed there. They told me they would amputate my leg. After about 7 days, they amputated it directly. Sleeping was prohibited during the day. From 6 in the morning until 11 at night, you couldn't say a word. This would be enforced. You couldn't talk to your neighbor. The dog unit comes and they bring the breaking unit with them. They torture us, they tie us up and leave us for 50 days in a toilet, in one toilet, and they are keeping track of you.
Wow, that's some severe torture. They denied him any kind of medical care until the point that they had to amputate his leg. That is evil. Uh, and no, I mean, if that was me, or if I knew my family had gotten, arrested and they were made to have their leg amputated over an infection, I would not be happy with the government that did that. I would actually be against the government that did that for the extreme torture that they put me or a family member through. There is a reason why a lot of, Palestinians don't like the Israeli government, and it's because of what they do to Palestinians. It's just like when the United States goes in to invade a nation and, murders a bunch of people. Uh, the survivors are going to have a dislike of the United States for their treatment.
The Israeli military denies these allegations, asserting that all operations are conducted in compliance with national and international laws. However, first-hand accounts from other
Well, we're supposed to believe that the Israeli government follows international law when they've been arming and funding Israeli terrorists to go into the West and kill people and steal land. After they announced that they're stealing almost 2,000 acres of land from the West Bank, we're supposed to believe that they follow international law? That is a laugh. The Israeli government has never followed international law.
detainees tell a different story.
In those prisons, there was no food, no water, every kind of torture and beating you can imagine. The daily food they gave was not even enough to feed a small child. Actually, it was not a prison, it was a torture pit.
The international
And this isn't the first time Palestinian hostages being released by the Israeli government have spoken about the torture that the IDF does. You have even young kids talking about how they're tortured by the IDF, and we're supposed to believe the IDF are the good guys when they're torturing kids, when they're sexually abusing kids, when they're starving kids. That is insane to claim that the Israeli government is still the good guys here after knowing that they're, torturing people in prison.
International community, including organizations like the United Nations and the ICRC, has raised concerns.
Wow, this is signs of a whipping. They were whipping this dude in prison. That is insane. This is not the actions of a good nation. This is the actions of a terrorist government.
Concerns about the treatment towards Palestinian detainees. On February, an UNRWA report based on interviews with over 100 detainees claimed that the alleged abuse was used to extract information or confessions or intimidate and humiliate and to punish.
This is a 12-year-old who was shot and arrested by the IDF under the claims of being a terrorist. Just disgusting what the Israeli government actually does, and while pretending to be the good guys here. We're told that Hamas tortures people and that makes them bad, but why isn't the Israeli government considered the same for torturing innocent Palestinians?
They interrogated us for 14 days. They asked me about the resistance, who was part of it, and where they were. I told them I was just a child and didn't know anything about the resistance, but they didn't believe me. They kept interrogating me, but I refused to talk. Then they performed an operation on me, but afterward my leg got worse. And the medication they gave me didn't help much.
While performing unauthorized surgeries on children, that is truly disgusting. And think has any idea of, who the resistance is or what's going on is insane. Yeah, he's a kid. What is he going to know? But the IDF believes all Palestinians work together with Hamas, even if they're in the West Bank. A kid was shot in the West Bank, and even if they say I don't know what's going on, they don't believe them, and it's because a lot of the people in the IDF are truly insane.
The situation is tense as the allegations push for better protection of detainees under international standards.